So I've just dropped my first lap on this Canyon Talk. This morning, I went out last night for a street session, just bouncing around, getting the feel for it, doing some cutties in the park, and it was pretty soft and pretty wallowy. So I opened the rear shock up, put 2 more spaces in, so it's got 4 spaces. Fox on their website allows 5, so I'm fairly close to the full maxed out. I may go another one, we'll see how it goes. The forks I pulled apart this morning, gave them a service. Negative spring was not chockers of grease like I've seen, but definitely had a fair bit of grease in there, excessive. So I've sorted that out. They feel mint. I'm running, they're 180s, so 10 more mil than mine, and I'm running 75 psi, whereas on mine I run 87. And they feel stiff, they feel compliant, they're motoring over everything, they carry heaps of speed. The bike, now with the 2 extra spaces in the rear, it's wicked. The rear end, I've only done 1 run, so hard to say completely, but the rear end feels like it's supportive at the top, supportive in the middle, and then at the end when you hit the bigger stuff, it's not really super rampy, so it's not kicking you, it's not kicking me off the back yet. So through that real high speed bit in the middle just before you bounce onto the fire road here at Moriata, it's a good spot to see kind of how the bike feels. So you come in off of the initial fire road, you cross the fire road, it's rough, and coming in there first run, I'd already done the first few corners and I kind of already felt pretty confident. So I let off the brakes and just kind of spearheaded it into it, and it's very controlled. It's easy to change your line, whereas most bikes, it's once you're on a line there, it's a little bit kind of you've made your line and you got to hold on and commit to it. This was like I was just able to get it on a line really easy. So another couple of laps. I don't think I'll fiddle too much with the suspension. I've just slowed the rebound down in the rear shock a little bit, so that's running at 180 psi for my weight, 74 kilos, and it's 21 millimeters of sag, so it's staying on 30%. Forks are probably at about 15%, maybe a little bit more, under 20 for sure. And it feels reasonably balanced so far, so it's going to take me a few laps to get used to the way it corners. Yeah, a couple of laps, I'll drop a GoPro, and then Thursday there'll be more riding, so we'll see how we go. I'm just touching on how it climbs. So I'm climbing up here, it's a nice sunny day, pretty hot today, and it's alright. It's not terrible. It weighs exactly the same as my bike. So my Transition Patrol's 15.8 kilos. This thing's 15.78, so as I weighed it before. It's fine. I climbed up the first one with no climb switch. Felt alright. It's not fast. It's definitely not fast. And the seat angle could be better. I think it's a 74 degree, but it's not terrible. And it's got the the GX11 speed, not the Eagle. So I'm missing a gear here. I'm in the second anyway. Hang on a sec. Let me change gears. That's better. So climb's alright. It's not a slug. I'd say it feels identical to the Scott Ransom in climbing, although that's got a better lockout system, so you can really lock that out and go for it. This one you just got a climb switch on the back, but it's alright. It's definitely not as bad as I thought. A lot of reviews say it's a pig to climb, and if you're comparing it to an XC bike, then most certainly, but long travel, you're not going to die climbing this, it's not bad. So I've dropped 3 full laps and a couple of half runs, just fiddling. Forks are killer. I've got them more or less where I want them, I think. I won't know till I get that rear shock a little bit closer. So the rear shock feels killer, but it needs another spacer in it. So I'm going to max it out at 5. I got to go home and sort that out. So I'm not going to ride it again here. I've done, like I said, 3 full runs and a few half runs, so probably 4 runs. It's killer. It's fast. I did a couple of Strava runs because it felt fast straight away. I felt like I could ride you know, at a reasonable pace straight away, and I was hoping to get around to 250, and yeah, got it, no worries. So if I spend more time on this bike, I could get it close to what I can do on the patrol for sure. I'll get that shock sorted, come out again. I'm going to ride tomorrow night after work, and then I'm going to ride again Thursday, and hopefully by then I've got it singing and I can give it a decent review. But so far so good. Handles really well. It corners really tight. Like it's quite an easy bike to corner compared to my patrol. Coming around or changing direction, it's just a little bit easier. It veers offline a little bit easier, so I do like that. It's agile, and for a 180, 175 bike, I've got no problem with it at all. Climbs alright, you know, put a 170 dropper on it and you'd be singing. What I'm doing at the moment is putting the dropper up a touch, so it's in the perfect climbing position. And then when I get to the top, I'm just dropping it down 10 mil, so it's right out of the way when I'm descending. So I think a 170 would be perfect, and I feel the same on my bike. But overall, the handlebars feel a little bit weird. I might play with the roll, might roll them back a touch. But you know, you can see they're quite vertical in relation to how the forks are. So they could come back a touch. We'll see. I changed the saddle because the saddle was terrible. Couldn't sit on it. So I've just got a demo saddle on it. This is the Fabric Scoop Radius. Actually feels pretty good to climb on, so it's a good seat if you're after something that's more comfy, if you're sitting on 2 bricks. But yeah, so far so good.